Hello everyone, how are you? My name is Kevin DeLeon. I'm your Cengage representative making another video for you about MindTap. In this video, we're going to talk about how to customize MindTap. The MindTap learning platform is very customizable, especially when integrated into Blackboard, as I think all of my customers are using MindTap inside of Blackboard. In my last video, I talked about how to bring in specific links, maybe for just one chapter, or maybe bringing in links for assignments or ebooks, or for a specific week that you're using, or links that cover a specific concept. And you can customize which links you bring into Blackboard and which ones you don't. So that's maybe one level of customization. But in this video, I want to talk about how to actually do the customizations inside of MindTap. It's important to know that if you're going to customize MindTap, that you do it inside of your MindTap course before bringing the links individually over for your students. The reason is if you make certain changes inside of MindTap and certain customizations, they're not always reflected in the individual links brought over for students. So if you're going to be someone that does a lot of customizations inside of MindTap, I suggest two things. The first thing is go inside of MindTap and do your customizations first. And also, when you're bringing in the links for your students, you might want to stagger how you bring them in. In other words, instead of sitting down at your desk and bring in all the links for all the chapters all at one time, you might want to work week by week or even chapter by chapter. This will make it a less daunting task to bring over links for each chapter if you do it a little bit by a little bit. Your seat time will be less if you kind of bite a little bit bite a little bit at a time, as opposed to trying to eat the whole thing at once. In any case, we're going to go inside of MindTap now. Again, we're inside of Blackboard, and this is how you'll access MindTap. Remember, you're going to go into your hidden folder or your hidden MindTap link, okay? So you're going to click on your MindTap course link. And here we are inside of MindTap. Again, you'll notice a couple of different views. This is the first view. It's this one highlighted here in the middle, and it's got all these different chapters here. We call this the learning path, okay, or the unit view. Another view you could use here is your week view. And also, this is like an overview to see everything at once. But in this case, we're going to sit in the unit view. Now, we can customize MindTap in several different ways, and I'm going to kind of go through each one of them. The first thing here is in the learning path or inside of each chapter, either way, you're going to see this plus sign here at the top of the page, okay? Right here at the top. This is where we can add content. Again, we can add content inside the chapter or in this area. And you're probably wondering, what kind of content can I add? Well, I'm going to show you. You can add a folder here. You can add an additional unit. In this case, all of these, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, these are all units. Or you can add an activity. The reason we offer you these options is so that you can, again, customize it however you like. You might want to make a folder for your students for any other assignments that they have to do in class, and you can put that information here. Or if there's any other type of resources, if you just want to do some additional layers of organization inside of your MindTap, you can utilize these two functions. But for this purpose, we're going to go to Add Activity, which is where we can choose what we put inside of MindTap. And these are our options. You can put flashcards in. There's a flashcard app, which I'll show you later in a different video. So you could put them in, but there's already an app listing all of them. You can put in an RSS feed. And RSS feeds, again, are specific websites that are available out there. You can search for them on Google. They might be from a museum or a newspaper or media source or really anything. And it just provides continual current updates as to what's going on in that field or from that source. So maybe you want to do an RSS feed from the Smithsonian Museum or from a newspaper or anything, and it just gives your students constant updates that they can go to for current events. You can add a YouTube video here, which is awesome, and I think a lot of my instructors already do this. Maybe you normally show YouTube videos for your students on a specific concept or during a certain chapter. You can add that YouTube video again at the inside your learning path or inside of each chapter. See Now is an app that many of you have in your MindTaps, and it usually powers any type of practice assignment or typically a quiz. And there's a way that you can go into the See Now app and make your own quizzes from the test bank or own assignments from the test bank, and you can create your own activities, and then you can add them in here, okay? Applia powers our critical thinking assignments, and if you'd like to add specific critical thinking assignments to each chapter or additional ones, you can come here to do that. This is where we embed the web links. If you want to embed a web link for your students to go to, maybe it's, again, a newspaper or a museum or something to help them with their writing or anything like that, you can send them here. Anything that you would normally send them to, okay? This LAMS app is a specific assignment in some of your MindTaps. You can add a LAMS activity. They're different in every MindTap. Not every MindTap has them, so I won't cover that really too much. This is a non-MindTap activity. Maybe you normally have your students do an activity or a group assignment in class, and you put that assignment inside Blackboard or tell them verbally. If you'd like to house it all inside of MindTap so that all the assignments that the students are going to do are all together, you can use that here. And it's basically a blank slate for you to add information for your students. And then there's a link down, there's an item down here called My Content. And that's if you want to add anything that's yours currently. Maybe you have a PowerPoint presentation on your computer, or a Word document, or a PDF, or an Excel spreadsheet, or anything. Actually, inside of MindTap, you can also choose resources from this Kaltura app, if you like. And Kaltura provides you the ability to add images, audio, or even video that maybe you have done yourself. Maybe you recorded a video message for your students, and instead of putting it on YouTube, it's just the video is just on your computer, and you want to add that video for your students to see. Maybe it's an online class, and you want to give them a video message saying, "Hello, students, I'm Professor Williams, and we're going to be teaching Psychology 101 today." Or in this class, or whatever it is. That's how you do that, okay? So this is your selection. And once you make the selection, MindTap will ask you, where do you want to put it? Do you want to change the order of it? Do you want to put it down here or up here or wherever? Or if you're inside of a chapter, it'll also ask you where you'd like to put it. But even if you don't add activities, as you can see, each MindTap is ready to go out of the box in case you don't want to make any changes, okay? Again, here are some flashcards that are already here. These quizzes right here are powered by See Now that we just talked about. Inside of these sections, these critical thinking activities, these are the Applet assignments, so they're there as well, okay? So the next layer of customization I want to talk to you about is if you want to edit specific items or units here in this learning path. You'll notice that whenever I hover over a unit here, I get this pencil here, and I also get this circle with a line through it. The circle with a line through it is to hide it, okay? So let's say you don't want your students to look at anything inside section 1.1, or maybe inside section 1.1, there's an individual item that you don't want them to see. Maybe you don't want them to see a critical thinking tutorial. Now, I would suggest that you do show that to them, but if not, you can just click this, and it will be hidden from your students, okay? Here it is. It's hidden. And if you want them to see it again, you just click on it. Now, if you click on any of these as well, you'll typically get some options if you want to edit it. So you'll click on this pencil to do any editing. And inside here, you can change the description of the assignment, you can set a due date, and you can even select an order. Now, depending on the item that you're trying to edit, you might also get this up here that says Edit Options. And if you click on edit options, it will give you some more detailed editing options for you to look at. Now, because this item that I'm trying to edit is an Apply assignment, I could do these edits one at a time on each item, or I could go into the Apply app and edit all of them in a much easier way. But in this case, I could change the title if I want. I could say it counts towards grade, or if it's practice, I could make it timed, and I could say how many minutes, okay? Or a couple of other items, okay? Now, if I'm at this level, this section level, and I click the edit here, I can even change the name of that folder. Maybe I don't want it to say section 1.1. Maybe my students won't know what that means. Maybe I just want to tell them that this is the section that covers this topic or whatever it is. I could even edit chapter 1 here. I could do it way up at the top here and click the pencil and edit the name of chapter 1. Or I could come back to this chapter view here, okay? And I could click here and I could edit it and do a description and change the order. Maybe you don't cover chapters in this order, 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe you cover chapter 3 here. Whoops. Maybe you cover chapter 3 in a different order. Maybe you cover it after chapter 5. Okay? So 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 3. Okay? And maybe chapter 7 is something you cover at all. Maybe you want to hide that for your students. Maybe you don't want them to see that. Maybe you don't want that to be confusing to them. Or chapter 10. Or maybe you do cover chapter 8, but you don't want your students to see chapter 8 until a certain day. Okay? So these are some other editing options that you can choose. Okay? Anywhere you see a pencil, you can make a change. Just remember that. Anywhere you see a pencil, even up here, if you want to edit the name of the book up here, you can do that too. And in your view, if you hide a lot and you don't want to see all these grayed out things, you want to see what the students see, come up to this little hourglass looking icon up here and click it. And all of your hidden items will go away. And then to bring them back, you could click to bring it back. Okay? Another layer of customizations is actually inside the ebook. So we're going to go into the ebook, a reading activity. You'll notice it's an ebook because there's a picture of a book here. I'm going to open up this reading activity or the ebook for section 1.1. Here it is. And you'll notice up at the top here there's a pencil. And wherever I see one of these pluses, I can add content. Much like exactly the way that we added content into the learning path, I can do the same thing here. So let's click on this one. See where that red line was? This is where I'm going to add it. You know, I want my students to see a YouTube video after that section. I want them to be able to see a YouTube video about the Greeks. Okay, so here are my YouTube options. If you choose one really long in length, chances are your students won't watch it all the way through or at all, and it takes a long time to load. So you might want to choose one that's a shorter duration, okay? And if I want to preview it, I can click here and preview it, and it will open it up in YouTube.
Unlike other sour creams, Daisy is made...
Okay? But if I like it, I can just click here, and I can click continue. And then there's options for me to write text before and after. This is a great video. Please write one essay due Friday. Whatever. Okay? We will talk about in class. That's what I'm writing afterwards. And continue. And here it is. Here's my video. It is in line inside the ebook, and it looks like it was supposed to be here always. The idea is we want our students to be able to read about something inside the ebook, and then we want them to have some additional context if needed. Maybe it's a video, maybe it's a web link, maybe you want to add a PowerPoint or an infographic or anything else that you might want them to have to help them understand what they just read about the first humans here. Okay? And then when you're done, you can unclick the pencil, and here you go. And your students will see this. Okay? And then if you want to unclick it and take it out, you can hit the minus and you can remove. Yes. Okay? The next level of customization that I want to talk to you about is actually inside the apps. So we're going to go here to all apps up here, and there's two places we're going to do some editing for most of you. The first is See Now. See Now is generally what's going to generate your quizzes or practice quizzes or graded quizzes or things like that. Typically, multiple choice, question and answer, not specifically designed for elevating critical thinking skills, but much more to test them on their knowledge. Now, these are items that are already created inside for this one. You can print them, you can save them to your computer, you can duplicate them, or you can edit them, okay? You can also search for different ones. And the edit option is you can edit the assignment information, the options, or the content, okay? And I'll do the content in here. Oh, it's just thinking. In any case, while it's doing its thing, you can also, oh, here we go. Okay. So this process is going to be very much like making your own assignment, okay? These are the questions inside of this specific assignment. And if I click on them, I can actually preview them below by clicking on them. And if I don't want them here, I can hit an X, okay? I can also click Include up here. I can also create a new pool from questions to be selected, and I can click Create. Oh, maybe I can't. Maybe I can just take out of here. Oh, I'm sorry. Here we go. Down here it says Add more questions. I need to move this up there a little bit. Okay. Right here it says Add more questions at the bottom. I think my screen is formatted funny. Here in this Chapter 1 check-in, maybe there's some additional items that I want them to be tested on, okay? So maybe there's something from this Chapter 1 quiz that I want included, okay? And I can say Update and Continue. Typically, they'll then ask me how many choices I want here, but I'm going to add all 20 so that I get the most, because 20 is not a very high number. And see, these are the 5 that I already had selected. Now I can go through here, and again, every time I click, I can preview them one down here. And if I like them, I can click this box here. Maybe I want that question, and I can include it over here. And you just move them from the left to the right, okay? And then I'm going to save, as I've added a new question. Okay, so this one is saved. Okay, if I want to create a new assignment, I can do that. By clicking on New Assignment. Do I want a homework or test? In this case, I want test. And continue. Give it a name. How about Demo Test Chapter 1? Okay, I want to pull from both of these. Chapter 1 quiz and this Chapter 1 check-in. Okay. And this is where you can kind of filter a little bit. Obviously, everything is automatically graded, okay? And there's only 25 questions here. Sometimes if you're giving a test for multiple chapters and you click multiple chapters up above, you're going to get a pretty big number here. 25 is very manageable to work through. But if I wanted fewer, maybe I only wanted 15, the system is going to take 15 random questions of these 25 to display so that I don't have to go sifting through 300 or 400 questions or however many are available. And I'll click continue. And again, these are my 15 now. Again, 15 available questions. And I can click preview them below and then add them here. Okay, I'm just going to do one question. And if I wanted to add more questions, again, I could come down here and add more questions and then maybe select stuff from Chapter 2 or Chapter 3 or Chapter 4, or whichever my quiz is about. And these are all from the book. Next, I want to set some parameters. Unlimited takes, or a certain amount of minutes. Or they get 3 takes, and possible score, here are the points. When multiple takes are allowed, which one? Do I want the best one? There's a bunch of settings in here that you can choose. And then you create the test. Okay? Now the test is created. I want to add it because it's not in here yet. I just created it in See Now. So let's say I want to add it to section 1.1 here. Okay? I can go to this plus here, add activity. I'm going to go down to See Now. That's where I made the test. Okay, and maybe I need to search it. Oh, there it is, Demo Chapter 1 Test. I'm going to click the bubble and say Continue. Okay, I'm going to set it as new. Demo Test 1. Oh, I'm sorry, that was set as a new one. Okay, so I just renamed it. My fault. You don't have to do that. You can click Continue at the bottom. My mistake. Okay. Now, where do I want to put it? Section 1.1 is where I want it. Do I want it at the bottom? Maybe I want it at the maybe I want it just above number 1 here. And then I could put a due date on it here as well. Okay, yes, I've selected it. Here it is. It counts towards grade. If I wanted to trash can it, I can. And the reason I can do that is because this is something that I made. And I can edit it as well in case I need to, or I can hide it in case I don't want it or whatever. But here it is. And that's how you do that. Okay. The other app that we can do some editing in is Applia. Now, Applia is our critical thinking learning platform, but it's not an area where we can edit the actual content because these questions are written specifically to help your students increase their critical thinking skills, and they're in a specific order as well. But there still are a few things that we can do. The first thing that I suggest you do is go up to this little gearbox at the top. And in the Applia assignments, the students can get 3 attempts. Okay, and I suggest that you select keep the highest. The reason is if your students get all the questions right on the first attempt, the system as default will make them do the other 3 and it will grade their results based on the average of the 3. However, I typically find that if the students have gotten them all right on the first time, they've proven mastery and they can move on and the system will just keep the highest grade. Okay? I find that students appreciate that a little bit more as well. Okay. Now you can grade upon submission or on due date as well. We're going to save. Next, each one of these is its own assignment. Inside of these assignments are problem sets. Some of them only have 6 or fewer. Some of them have 1. Some of them have a lot. So you'll want to hop through here and look, because you don't want to give your student an assignment where there's too many. I've seen some where there's like 20 problem sets, and some of the items in there are things that you don't cover anyway, and frankly, it can be a little while for the students to sit in the seat. But if you want to edit at a assignment level, you can click this pencil here. See, I'm on the assignment level all the way at the top. And I can make it counts towards grade or practice. This will make that orange bubble below it that says counts towards grade appear or disappear. So I'm going to make it practice, and then I'm going to make it timed. And I'll make it for 20 minutes. I'm going to save. And then these are all the individual questions. Now, please note, if you X out a question, it is gone, and you will not be able to retrieve it. Again, if you X out the question in here, it will be gone and you will not be able to retrieve it. So before you do it, make sure that you don't want it, okay? If you hit the pencils by each question, you can name the title and you can change the points. Maybe I want each one of these to just be worth 5 points. 5 points. 5 points. 5 points. Oh, am I not doing it? Oh, it hopped me into question 6. You can also click on the link to preview them, okay? In any case, that's how you do it. I think I got a little click happy. Also, if you want to edit, now all of these are in the system as counts towards grade. If you want to quickly make them all practice, you can click on all of these pencils all the way down and unclick here all the way down. Actually, you might have to do them one at a time. Let me see. No, you can do it this way too. Here you go. And you could do them all the way down. Okay? And these are the Apply assignments. So that's the ways that you can customize your items here inside of MindTap. The possibilities are really limitless. I'd be very interested to see how some of you are customizing your MindTap, or what materials you're adding into it that are making MindTap your own and specific for your class. Thank you again.